Oh yeah, so those thumbnails. So Species is just one of those films that and I'll mention this when we do the pod on it. I remember watching it on like ITV late at night and thinking, this is really cool. And I've never seen it since, but it's been one of those films like I really want to watch this at some point. I remember it being cool, but I don't remember,
feel like I've seen it all.
Yeah,
I think I've seen bits of it.
I also remember getting confused with Mimic.
Yeah,
they came around the same time, but this was better. But then we got House by the Cemetery. That's quite a nice visual.
Yeah,
and the Maximum Overdrive is just mad.
I mean, that just sums up the entire film, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
a giant truck with a Green Goblin face on it. It is mental. And it was on not that long ago. I did watch it, but I'll definitely watch it again because it's
I've never seen it. I've never seen it, but I'm aware of how ludicrous it is.
It's one of those. It was just like when we watched it the other week. It was just on. It was like, oh, let's see if there are any films on. Like going through the Freeview channels, and it was like, yep, that's Maximum Overdrive. Right, we'll leave this on. And it's always one of them. I've never consciously sat down and gone, oh yeah, let's watch Maximum Overdrive. But I seem to have seen it, come across it quite a few times. Where it's just been on, and you think, yeah, go on, I'll leave it on.
Do you know what? Do you know what other films you wouldn't just decide to just let's sit down and pop on and watch?
Go on, Tom. What other films would you not just decide to watch?
I'm surprised you had the nerve to show your face today.
Yeah, okay. It was bad, wasn't it?
Welcome back to the
Go on, welcome back to the Dreadcast. Here we are.
He picks today's films and interrupts me during the intro. The state of this episode is going to be off This is like an episode that if we had a Patreon would be, this is the one you got to pay for. This is going to be the shitty one you've got to pay for. This is not your everyday Dreadcast episode. Welcome back to the Dreadcast. This is episode 46. I'm Tom. This is Aiden. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, horror nerds. Oh, wow. What a film we have in store for you on today's episode.
Outwaters, that's all I'm going to say.
Is a Martin Scorsese masterpiece compared to today's pick.
It's fucking not.
We all get one, okay?
The score is now tied.
Everyone gets one. The counter will be somewhere on the screen here. I'm going to add a counter. We all get one on the show. And even with the Outwaters, me and you would watch the trailer.
Yeah.
Yes, we'd watch the trailer. Yeah. That's the problem. The trailer was really well cut. Because it sort of led you into, okay, this is very chill. Then suddenly, you are left with, what the fuck did I just watch? When you watch the film, you're left with, what the fuck did I just watch? But not in the same context.
No, well, this was I didn't watch a trailer for this. This was just it kept popping up on Amazon Prime, whatever, Shudder, saying, and it kept every time I was looking, you sit there, you scroll through, you're looking for something to watch. Yeah. I kept scrolling past this Antrum. It's like I'll watch that one day. So when it came to picking a film for the pod, I was like, you know what? Right, this is a good chance. This is a good time to watch it.
Yep.
And boy, am I glad I did.
Yeah. So am I. All right. Before we get into today's film, Antrum, the deadliest movie ever made, the shittiest movie ever made. I'm all like, am I right, folks? Couple of points. Do go back and check out last week's episode on the Toxic Avenger. That was really fun, great fun, and we went way over our time. Not that we have a time limit, but way over the time we would have normally done because we had so much fun discussing it. So do go check it out on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, Amazon, Podbean, and YouTube, all by searching the Dreadcast. Do you know what? I keep forgetting I even have the account, but let's go check. Let's check the mailbag where there's
good. Check the mailbag.
There's not where while I'm checking the mailbag, where can they send stuff to if they want to?
I am hastily trying to look up the address because I've forgotten.
And we have no mail. We're still waiting on the mail. Send us some mail.
That's probably because I always forget to tell people what it is, and I still can't find it.
Would you like help?
Throw me a bone, yes, please. Bail me out here.
Folks, if you want to send a message to us or any horror trivia, horror questions, whatever you like, you can send it into the Dreadcast.
I'm writing it down on a post-it, and I'm going to stick it to my screen so I will never forget.
The Dreadcast, same as the title of the whole show. Pod, P-O-D, like the great new metal band, at gmail.com. What's that email address again?
It is thedreadcastpod@gmail.com.
That's right, folks. That's right, horror nerds. There it is.
It's on a post-it. It's being stuck.
It's official now. It's there. Can't forget it.
I will never, ever forget.
And the other thing I wanted to mention is unless you've already done it, but I need to, download the Toxic Crusaders demo. And we need to find time to dabble into that because it's there on Steam.
That yet. Ooh, I have not done that. No, I will be. So we'll definitely be checking that out.
Yeah, the game releases next year apparently, but the demo is available now. So if you're a Toxic Avenger Crusaders fan, do go check out the demo now on Steam. I believe it is only a Steam game. I don't think it's. I believe it's on like PlayStation Store or Xbox Store. Let's have a quick browse.
I think it's only on Steam at the minute. Whether it'll get, I could totally see it getting a Switch port.
It's a Switch game, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah, but then again, how big? I say how big is the Toxic Avenger? It's massive as far as I'm concerned, but I appreciate that probably not everybody remembers the cartoon because the game's born based on the cartoon. It's
Switch, PS4, PS5.
Oh, it is getting it's released to everything. That's great. Yeah,
all around the board. Perfect. So go check it out, folks.
It's gonna be a great beat 'em up. If you like the Turtles beat 'em up games, if you like the old school Simpsons arcade. What else was there?
Double Dragon, Final Fight, Streets of Rage,
all of those kind of things. Then it's gonna be a good fun beat 'em up. So there's no reason not to check it out. I wouldn't have thought.
Leave
doing a bad job.
Yeah, Alien vs Predator was beat 'em up as well, which I remember being.
Oh yes, it was.
That was a really good game.
I used to look. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
You play because you could play as Dutch or the Predator, or there was a lady character.
A lady?
There was a lady character. I can't remember what she was called. But I think it was an amalgamation of stuff from comics and various things all jammed in. Yeah, it was good. On the subject of games as well, something that we didn't mention last time, although we did talk about the Friday the 13th game going cheap and, it being a limited time before the servers shut and everything. Harry Manfredini has revealed that he's currently involved with a new Friday the 13th video game that's being made.
Did see that, yes.
Details on it are very, very scarce. I don't think there's any mention of who's making it or what type of game it's going to be, or anything like that. Although I did see an article that suggested that it definitely wasn't going to be an asymmetrical multiplayer type of affair. But there is, apart from Harry saying he's working on it or he's been involved in it, there's like no other information as yet. It's all very hush hush, early days.
I know what genre that could fall into. Like I'm not the biggest fan of the is it Supergiant or Supermassive Games. I'm not a big fan of their games like Until Dawn and all of them.
That's exactly what I think it'll be. To be quite
I feel
honest.
it would have to fall into that category. I feel,
unless it's something like Alien Isolation, or
good shout. Yeah.
Yes, or Resident Evil 7.
No, I think you're right with isolation. I think you're right with isolation because, yeah, that would fit. That would fit. I mean, personally, I prefer kart racing. Friday the 13th kart racing. You know, they
why not?
They already established in the game, Friday the 13th game, and throughout the films, obviously, there's loads of different iterations of Jason. Say you have you've got 8 different iterations of Jason. God, iterations of Jason.
Have you been drinking this morning?
This is not just coffee in here.
You've Irished up that coffee.
Well, I had to for today's episode. It was going to be a hard one. So,
yeah, fair one.
You could get 8 different Jasons, and there you've got your grid lined up right there.
Yeah.
With the big chibi heads and. Yeah, there we go.
That would be good.
Friday the 13th kart race. Not just Friday the 13th. Yeah, horror kart racing.
Horror kart.
Yeah.
Horror kart.
I think you're right though. Alien Isolation or something like the Until Dawn would be the best fit for it.
I think the Dark Pictures anthology style Quarry Until Dawn. I think that works better because you've got because they're like essentially like interactive movies, those kinds of games, with branching stories and different outcomes depending on who survives and whatnot. The problem with Alien Isolation, an Alien Isolation style game set in that universe, is that it's just going to be you and Jason, and it'd be difficult to add extra threat in there. I think it might end up just being a bit sparse, a bit bland at times. You know what I mean?
Didn't Isolation have the androids?
And Isolation did have extra enemies in terms of the androids, but I think the Alien lends itself better to being a little bit more of a omnipresent threat in that it can travel through vents and whereas in the movies Jason does pop up left, right and centre and we don't really know, but I don't know, it's just something about it seems I think it'd be good if it's done well. It'd be good and it could necessarily work, but if you're giving me the choice between the two styles, I'm leaning more towards the Dark Pictures Supermassive style working just that little bit better. But we'll see. It's like I said, there's not really any info out there at the minute. So,
well, the fact if he's working on the at least sound design of it,
the sound's going to be good. Yeah,
the sound's going to be epic. It does all come down to who's working on it, who's developing it, who's publishing it. If it turns out to be, I don't know, say an EA push it out the door or Epic push it out the door game, it's gonna be buggy as hell. It's gonna have a battle pass. It's gonna be a cash. It's gonna be painful.
Loot boxes.
Yeah, it's gonna be painful. But we'll see. It's a very early days. Very early days.
As I say, it was just a little note considering we were talking about. I forgot to mention it last week when we were talking about the other Gun Interactive Friday the 13th game. That don't be too sad because we're supposedly getting another one on the way. Using that license, but time will tell.
And again on video games, I don't know if we talked about this last time. They announced the price and pre-orders for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's
I think this was a conversation we had. I don't know if it was on the pod,
and only £40. I mean, it's not a big game, but nowadays, especially like we talked about Nintendo, it doesn't matter. A new game will always be around 60, 70. PlayStation and Xbox are £70. So even if it doesn't have as much content as, say, an Elden Ring, for example, £40 still for a video game is good these days. Yeah, especially for
classic pricing.
Yeah, especially for a game that you're quite passionate about. £35 on Amazon for PS5. Perfect. And it's cross-play as well, folks. So if you only have one console, it's fine. But I very much looking forward to that. And I think we could definitely dabble in some more game content for the channel now. Like we're going to look into the Toxic Crusaders. We'll get a few runs on that. I mean, we don't need to do full let's plays or series. We just dabble. We'll just hit,
particularly with new upcoming stuff that is coming out, that is co-op or it is multiplayer. We could and should do some Dreadcast special live streams of Texas Chainsaw or whatever else.
Agreed.
That'd be good fun.
Right. Is that all the fun stuff? Is that all the interesting stuff?
That is all the interesting stuff. That is all the extra flavour.
Thanks for listening, folks. That is the end of today's episode. It was a short one this week.
Don't watch Antrum.
It's more the news. This was more the news network, the news episode. Just getting the bits and bobs out the way for the week. Fuck's sake. All right. So this week's episode is Antrum, the deadliest movie ever made. Go.
Well.
Can I just say one thing? We normally maybe people don't listen to the episodes because they haven't watched the film.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that with some other movie review sites. I won't watch their review because I don't want to get spoiled. Don't watch this film.
Just don't watch it.
Don't waste an hour and a half watching this film.
Listen to us telling you about
Do not watch it. Yeah.
And then and just accept that. Right. Well, exactly. It's not. I do have some positive things to say about this.
I have a couple.
And one of the things is how this film is presented. So essentially, we're dealing with a found footage film, but it's a little twist on the found footage genre because it's not, police tapes or FBI tapes or whatever, and of some bad shit going down. Antrum is a movie, supposedly produced in the 70s, that was responsible for it, but it was presented at a bunch of film festivals. People saw it. Bad things happened. This film then goes missing, and then the Antrum that you can watch is presented as the only surviving print of this film being found, and here it is.
Yeah.
So it's bookended by various people talking about it, talking about the production in the 70s, talking about these various incidents that happen. Then you're given a sort of warning about what you're about to watch, and then you're presented with the movie Antrum. That's also features this supposed copy of the film, print of the film, has also been tampered with by an unknown third party, and there are scenes in there that have been sort of spliced in from an unknown source. So which is interesting. It's a nice twist that I liked. It's a nice twist on the found footage setup. It's framed quite well that you've got these professors and these authority figures talking about it. Then here's the film, and then it's capped off at the end with so a little bit more talking head sort of stuff. The actual storyline of the film itself, I'm gonna read off the.
Why would you read it off a website? Do you not know it?
I don't know.
Do you not know what the plot was? Do you not remember what the plot was? What?
I mean, in broad strokes, yes. But I think the way it's been written here by this person on the IMDb page is just nice and succinct, and
it just makes it a bit easier. Yeah.
It does make it a bit easier.
So,
refusing.
Yeah, go on.
So refusing to accept that his recently euthanized dog Maxine is now burning in the pits of hell, devastated young Nathan finds himself tormented by constant nightmares and infernal visions. To ease his suffering, Nathan's older sister Aurelie takes him on a trip to the grim woods to find the fabled spot where Lucifer himself fell to earth when he was cast out of heaven and opened a portal to the unknown. Now bent on rescuing the dead dog's soul, the determined siblings follow the unholy instructions of a genuine grimoire, digging their way through the inner layers of the netherworld. However, as they delve deeper and deeper into the cursed realm, disturbing incidents start to occur, as dark signs tell the unprotected explorers of the
False. Oh, that's false. That doesn't happen.
To leave when still can. Is Aurelie's mind playing tricks on her? Have they indeed unearthed hell's unfathomable secrets? So yeah, it's essentially two kids digging their way to hell, to rescue their dog.
I thought it was his mum.
No, it's a dog.
No, I thought I didn't know that was his sister. I thought that was his mum.
Oh no, right. No, they're brother and sister. They're brother and sister. So this is supposedly what they're doing, and I think the general sort of setup and the idea is that the deeper they dig, the weirder stuff gets around them, and the more sort of visions and closer to hell they're getting. What actually happens is that they wander into another film with some backwoods Satanists that try and cook them in a giant Baphomet, and then they randomly find the dog at the end. It just finishes.
Yeah, I didn't even see that bit. I didn't even catch the ending. I'll be honest.
They find the dog and it finishes, and then it goes back to the girl like having a backfill in the hole and freaking out and screaming into the trees. It's fucking rubbish. Let's be honest. Now, it's terrible.
The way you described that, it sounds that like this could be a wild ass film.
It sounds interesting. You can see why my interest was piqued. Yeah. Why I kept looking at this thing, thinking, I'm gonna watch that one day.
That sounds mental. It could be with the budget and the proper production and not done like this, just as a film. It could be mad fun. Like, it's ludicrous. It's past the point of like really surreal, serious horror. It's just batshit crazy, but that's great. We could have had real good fun with this.
Yeah.
All of that you just described happens at the most minimalist level.
Yeah.
Nothing extreme really happens.
No.
They should they should just dig up.
That do with a squirrel. The little stop motion animated.
Yeah,
squirrel.
I wrote that down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, let's start with. So it's like a mockumentary style. Like you said, we've got Antrum. What you just described is Antrum, but what we've watched is Antrum: the deadliest movie ever made. So that's like the title of this mockumentary, where inside it has the film Antrum.
Yeah.
Now, are the people that they speak to, they're all actors, right?
Everybody's an actor, yeah.
Okay, it wasn't a case of like this guy actually is a film journalist, and he in our real life, but they've just got him on this and pretending that Antrum is real, and he's like pretending.
Oh no! As far as I'm aware, no. As far as I'm aware, everybody is an actor, and that is just like I said, the way it's framed, and I think it's done. That is done well.
I agree.
It's presented as you might expect. I mean, when they do documentaries about the production of the Exorcist being cursed and the production of Poltergeist being cursed, and there are documentaries out there that talk about these supposed cursed films that
cursed films, the series,
exactly, where the subject matter of the film is so dark and evil that it's essentially cursed the production and cursed. This goes one step further and suggests that it's so dark and evil that it curses anybody that watches it.
Yeah.
And we're presented with a bunch of different cases of people dying in horrific accidents, either during the screenings of or shortly after watching the film. And like I said, it's done very well, and it's probably testament to maybe the limited distribution of this film or how well known it is, that if you do Google it, it's not immediately apparent that it's not actually real, in that they are attributing real deaths to a made-up film. At first glance, it does look like there was. I think one of the big events is because I think it claims it's responsible for the death of about 63 people or something.
Yeah, the theatre in Budapest, and they were trying to explain it would have caught fire in the projector room. In the film room, but I think they said it didn't. But that fire wasn't real, right?
No. It's all made up for the movie. But if you Google the movie, you search for the film, and you're trying to find plot synopsis about it, it's almost like there's a few people that didn't get the memo that it's all real, and there are There's a few articles that do read like, yeah, this happened. This is a real cursed movie. So it's almost managed to achieve that sort of Blair Witch level. Maybe not that kind of level, but verging on that sort of Blair Witch early internet.
This is that problem that it was so incredibly successful, and it was so long ago, Blair Witch, and obviously this is 2018. This mockumentary of Antrum is 2018. Like, but when was Antrum?
Antrum is just from the late 70s. I don't think we ever get an actual date for.
And that's real. It's not they're saying the film Antrum was from the late 70s, but it was actually filmed in 2018. The whole thing. Is that the case?
The whole thing was filmed in 2018.
Yeah.
But it's shot as a film from
That's
the
it. 70s. That's it. Yeah. You can't what's the phrase? Is it lightning in a bottle? You can't do it twice. Like what you peaked with Blair Witch in that, not just found footage, but that particular style. Mm-hmm. That especially with the marketing for Blair Witch, like this real? Like it obviously had people on edge. Like, is this legit real? Is this a fucking snuff film? Like, is this? No, it's not. But that's the point. It did such a great job of making you think that.
Yeah.
And you try and do it again in a different way. It will never hit the same mark as it did the first time.
It's not, and there's a lot of there's 30 years near enough between the two. The internet was in its infancy, and when Blair Witch came out, and it was a lot easier for this sort of viral thing, sort of marketing and whatever to take hold, because we couldn't find information so easily as we can now. But having said that, I think this is a reasonable stab at trying to do something similar. It's let down, I think, by the content of the film.
Yeah, that's the weakest part.
That is the problem.
Yeah,
the way it's presented, the way it's framed, is like, it gives you a little countdown with a warning to say, like, are you absolutely sure you want to watch this? And you've got sort of 20 seconds to get out of the theater if you don't.
I like that. I genuinely.
Yeah, I did.
It gives a bit of that anxiety to it.
Yeah, all of the bookending and all of the framing of this film being like cursed is done really well, and is interesting, and is something I've not seen a lot of. And like I say, I think it's comparable, although not as successful as it's comparable to how they marketed Blair Witch back in the 90s. And it's refreshing and kind of cool to see somebody having another go at that. The problem is the film that is supposedly so horrific and cursed that it causes people to get killed is shit. It's sort of to
sum it up, shit. It's just shit.
That's the issue. It's the film bit, which is the bulk of the runtime of the movie, is this supposedly cursed film that's just not very good.
The key thing that you're meant to be, after you've been told how evil and cursed it is, that you're meant to be watching and thinking, okay, why is this so? I'm still waiting. Why is this cursed? What's going on? Nothing's going on. Have you ever seen Lake Mungo?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Now, it was okay. I wasn't blown away by it. That's how this should have been done. Like, it started off like there's a story. Okay, and they started with it in this film, talking about the film. You just let the film be an Antrum, the deadliest movie ever made, be all about the film, not showing the film. Maybe show clips in here. Lake Mungo is about a family living by a lake, and the daughter drowns in the lake. But then more paranormal events start occurring in the house, and they start to set up cameras. They're trying to capture it, but at the same time, they're interviewing the family friends, looking at past video footage of the kids and whatnot, all that sort of stuff, trying to discover what's going on. It's all fake. They're all actors, but if you really try to get immersed in it, it feels real.
It's presented really well, and it's very, very good.
You don't get enough time in this because there's only, I want to say 10-15 minutes maybe of the mockumentary style at the beginning, and then we're straight into Antrum, the shitty film. If they had done the whole film as a mockumentary, interviewing people, showing snippets of the film, talking about...
That might have been better, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about all the events that happen in the squirrel, the dead body, was it real? Or the grimoire, like the book, where did the book actually come from? Where did the filmmakers, did they discover that and then use it in their film? Like little things like that.
Yeah, that's the thing, because we're told, and it is, that Antrum is a film. It's not a documentary from the 70s. It's a movie, like The Wicker Man's a movie, like The Exorcist is a movie. It is a movie intended for theatrical release. But there's something so, like, weird about it that it's caused all these accidents and stuff. Yeah. Or it's been blamed for all these accidents. The other interesting thing that's not made a big enough deal about is that this print of the movie that we're presented with has third-party footage spliced into it.
Little snippets
where there's like black and white little frames of dead bodies and weird things, like scrolled graffiti on bathroom walls and stuff like that. It'd be a more interesting premise to be somebody investigating what that is and where that's come from. And, you know, you could, like, again, in a mockumentary style, have somebody analysing these bits. And
yeah. We took it to a film editor to look in. And so I was looking at the film.
If you slow it down and brighten this and do that, we could have done something there.
Yeah.
But no, they don't do that. They just present you with this film in its entirety, and we're supposed to be scared by it. And I'm going to read one of my notes, which will...
Hang on, one sec.
Go ahead.
Where were we? I'll cut that out. Sorry, folks.
I was going to read one of my notes, which kind of sums up...
Oh, that's it. Antrum, the best film ever made. Yes.
So, well, there's a couple of different ones, but this was not that far into it. Just based on the previous note is the random man that appears, the sort of naked.
The Asian gentleman.
Asian fella.
Looks like he wants to commit. Is it seppuku? Seppuku?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was not long after that, which is not very long into the film. Shite, weird for weird's sake. I hate this about modern horror. It's outwaters again. Or everyone will be unsettled by this, and that is scary. Sorry, I'm just bored.
Bored is the key word. I was bored.
A little bit later on, this is towards the end of the film.
Yeah.
Terrible. Absolute waste of time. I hate this new horror. Unsettling experiences. It's just pretentious bullshit. Not scary, just boring. Like Noel Fielding's luxury comedy. Probably only appeals to whoever made it. Praised as groundbreaking by people who want to be in. It's the Emperor's new fucking clothes. Crap.
Man, that's just a solid review. Like, if you're a film journalist, that's a solid review of it. You got so many points in there.
Binaural beats, sound frequency. Ooh, scary. So
now that's the one thing I did like. I like some of the sound design. So not all of it. I like some of the sound design. But it is this thing, and we're seeing it increasingly. And I've still not watched it, but Skinamarink is another example of this sort of horror experience. Yeah.
And the longer I leave that film, the less inclined I feel like watching it, because I keep seeing more and more people saying the same sort of thing as this, where it's this like. Oh, we're being weird and edgy and subversive by not making a traditional film in the traditional format, and I personally find it really, really dull.
I agree.
It's not scary, but that's fine. Not every horror film has to be like absolutely crap your pants scary, but they do have to be entertaining. They do have to be interesting and keep my attention to watch. And this new trend of these experiences and unsettling images and unnerving sound, it just doesn't do it for me at all. And that's what this is.
I think the thing with the sound design, which is can be unnerving and weird at times. I mean, weird is a very generic word, but it's a word to describe it. Like, they're very unnatural sounds. It needs a good partner in the sense of an entertaining film to watch as well. Like you said, if you look at something like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, sound design in that is all over the place at times. It's really obscure and unnerving and uneasy at times, but it's got the film itself to mesh well with it. This didn't have that. The film, the story, and whatever was going on was boring. There was nothing to complement with the sound design.
I mean, so boring that they essentially abandon it and turn it into a backwards cannibal Satanist exploitation thing halfway through, where they suddenly decide that they're bored of the children digging a hole, so the children get on a boat and cross the lake and get captured by underpant wearing Satanists. And
the thing with them as well, I mean, where did I get? Oh, one just very side note. I wasn't a fan of the narrator at the beginning. I didn't think that was a good job. Anyway, let me take that one off. When we get to those Satanists, you said the film sort of tails off. They've got this big, what is it called? A
It's Baphomet.
I can never pronounce
it. It's a big scrap metal effigy of Baphomet.
That is on the marketing for this and the posters and images, everything. I envision that being, I don't know, some sort of demon that comes out of this hole that they're digging, and it turns out to be a barbecue.
I mean, essentially, yeah.
It's just a barbecue.
But I really like that poster. I really, really like that poster. You've got the simple text, the title. You've got the Baphomet statue, and then the kids. You know, the girl holding a little brother and flames behind them.
Yes,
it's very reminiscent of the Wicker Man, and obviously all that 70s folk horror sort of stuff that I really like, and it's really my jam.
This one, this other one's really good as well.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like that as well with the sort of scratched runic lettering. Yeah, that's really good. So you can see why this film captured my interest, because I was looking at it and thinking, oh yeah, is this? Okay, it's a spoof, not a spoof. Well, yeah, maybe a spoof is the right word. It's a spoof of these sort of 70s folk horror type things. I'm down for that. Watching that, that. I'll wear that t-shirt.
No a single person or cast and crew has that t-shirt.
I'd just scrape the title of the movie off and just keep the.
Do you know what? Yeah, that's a pretty metal t-shirt if you scrape the title off.
So it's got these vibes. But like I said, it's that side of it is not the plot of the film. It's not related to them. It's just there just so happens to be some other Satanists in the area. Or if we're supposed to believe that it's not real and it's part of their imagination, it's very grounded in reality, because they've got this whole junkyard, backwoods, hillbilly vibe going on, but they also happen to be Satanists and and cannibals. I think there's plenty of human remains scattered around the place, and they're essentially keeping they capture the kids to cook them. Yeah,
because there's someone inside that.
Somebody is inside.
Barbecue.
Inside the Baphomet barbecue, which is also metal as hell, and I know loads of people that would kill for a barbecue like that.
I mean, it's up there with the Lord of the Rings barbecues of the Witch King's head. Yeah. This film is like one big Ringu video, in a way. The film. Because of it's cursed, Oh, this film is cursed and you're gonna die. But the Ringu video is at the same time, I guess, and experiment and experience. Where if you just isolate it to the video,
the actual video itself,
But there's something about it. That is still disturbing and just unsettling. The video. I think, just watching that, it's just
maybe that's just done better. But that's what I mean about these sort of modern horror films are trying to basically make those real life versions of the Ringu video, and are just boring. I mean, it might bore me to death. It might kill me in that fashion.
Because anyone could do it. You just take a camera out and go to a field and just film one tree on a hill, 5 seconds, and then your next cut is, I don't know, you've got a house in the countryside, and you've just an actress, like an old woman standing in the window just looking down.
Yeah.
And you film that, and then your next cut is, I don't know, a pig's carcass or something.
Some roadkill or something.
Random
just
shit.
Stick
like
a black and white filter over the whole top of it.
Scratches.
And some weird, grainy footage, grainy effects. Some sort of string instrument over the top of it. Bam! That's your next. We'll call it the Dreadcast. We'll release it. That's our new horror hit of 2023.
And it's cursed, by the way.
Oh, it's cursed. Yeah, we'll just tell people.
It's cursed.
We'll tell people that somebody broke the leg during production.
But it comes with a free frozen ice cream, frozen yogurt.
The frozen yogurt is also cursed.
But it's free. Oh boy. Let's talk about like you mentioned the Asian gentleman who was just appeared and wanted to kill himself. All the other additions that sort of take place. So we've got the squirrel.
Yeah.
The stop motion squirrel. I was speechless when I saw that. I was kind of, because they're digging, and the sister points out there's a demon, but it's disguised as a squirrel.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hoping they weren't going to show it, and you just leave it to your imagination. But they showed it. And they showed a lot of footage of it, and it's just a shitty little stop motion squirrel, not doing anything, sitting there minding its own business.
Well, it kind of moves.
And then later on, there's a corpse. Mo's just left a corpse by the tree behind the. I don't even remember. Did they find it? Did they?
I've just brought that scene up.
Okay.
And
it's just there. It's there for a visual effect, really.
It's just that they don't even notice it. They're just running around. And then running around their tent, and the camera pulls back, and as the camera pulls back, there's a corpse next to this tree. Are
you meant to be like, oh my god, look at that?
And then it cuts to the book. So they've got this book as well, and it keeps cutting to the shots of the book, and the pages turn, and it'll be a chapter heading, which is the first layer, the second layer, and this is this supposed angle that the deeper they get, the weirder things start to happen, and the visions increase. And I think that that suicide or a potential suicide guy is like, they're so far down into hell that they've seen the first ghost kind of thing. And
that's what I want to ask. Like, is this, because they don't really dig that far, if I'm honest.
No.
By going through each level, they're not actually entering hell. They're how did I write it down? The idea is that with each level they dig down, the world around them becomes that level of hell, like their vision.
Yeah, I think that's what it's meant to be. Yeah.
But they don't dig that far down.
No, they don't dig that far down. And like we said, they get. I mean, this little kid is like 4 foot tall, and he gets to about shoulder height on himself. Yeah. So they maybe dig a 3 foot hole.
Pathetic.
It's bad
pathetic.
Effort. But then they do just give up, and they go off wandering, and suddenly find themselves in this cannibal junkyard. So it just abandons this whole premise that they dig into hell anyway. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing or not really, because the whole was kind of boring and not very much was happening with it. So good that they abandoned it, but also then you've just kind of shoehorned in satanic cannibals. Again, it's just weird and weird for weird's sake. And it throws a lot at you, but does nothing sticks. I think is the best way to say it. So yeah,
this is definitely up there with the worst interpretations of hell that we've talked about this in a lot of episodes. I actually like the idea of not physically stepping into hell, going to a location, and it just becoming around you. You're sort. It's just you've. I wouldn't even say they've entered a portal. They've. How would you describe it? By digging. Say they digged it down. They dug properly.
Like they got an excavator.
Yeah. And then when they come back up from the world around them is different. Trees are dead. I like that idea that it changes around them, but it was executed poorly, very poorly. I mean, everything was executed poorly. What was the thing in the boat? Was there like a naked person in the boat?
Oh, there was a naked person in it, but they're just, and again, it's just, what can we do? Right, think about something weird, they've pulling random things out of a hat.
Yeah,
naked woman, boat, whatever.
Yeah, put them together.
It's, I mean, there's the kid where there's the scene later on. It's like, I mean, it's about an hour and a half is this film, and it's about, and if there was maybe 10, 15 minutes of preamble, so we've got, it's like 45 minutes into Antrum, the film. There's this scene, and it's like a flashback of the kid meeting a demon that beckons to him from behind a dumpster.
I don't remember that.
It's just this. She's remember. It's again. It's very weird. So the sister orally is remembering. Like it's like keeps cutting back to her. So and then back to this black and white footage of her brother Nathan in this back alley, and it's just like this film's Canadian, so I'm assuming it's like behind a convenience. It's one of those sort of big, wide, like alleyways that they have in the States, behind a convenience store or something like that. There's a couple of big dumpsters, and it's the kid telling his sister about it, and he's just sort of saying, "Oh yeah, this thing, it showed me things," and it just shows this arm coming out from behind this dumpster and just sort of beckoning to him, and he goes over there and it's just the silhouette of a woman, and because the sun behind her, and she's all in shadow because of it, and she just does that, the creepy sort of head tilt.
I've got it up now. I'm just looking at it. Yeah, I don't remember this. I don't remember this clip at all. I must have skipped this part. This feels highly. This shot alone, the way it's shot, feels highly student.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. But that's supposed to be the demon.
Yeah.
That is summoned by the film, I think, or if you sort of buy into this cursed movie angle, it's this demon out Armon, because I think the end it describes these sigils being added to the print, and these sigils are supposedly like a summoning ritual. So by watching the film, that's the end. That's how it ends. It essentially says, "Oh, by watching this film, because of these sigils, you've essentially just summoned this demon." And it's kind of like
one appears,
shock sort of thing.
One appears on her face for half a second, and one appears on his face. But yeah, she does. Yeah, like you said, she does the head tilt. The silhouette of her, and
but there's so much. The main issue with this, and I'm struggling to describe this because
you've done a great job.
because I watched it about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks, was it 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? I was ahead of the curve with watching this movie.
So excited,
and and I made my notes, and then I came to look at my notes, and none of them made any sense because I can't remember anything about the film.
Yeah,
and there's so much. And you know, my memory is not that bad that I can't remember a film that I watched 2 weeks ago unless there's nothing tangible to sort of stick to. All the images are so disparate, and again, just shoehorned in. It's like, oh, there's a weird thing here, there's a weird thing there. Nothing really that tangible to grip to. There's no real story here. It keeps changing, and if you look at it, only works with its framing device, I guess. If you look at Antrum as a film on its own, I'm glad that this film went missing and nobody saw it, because it's absolute dog shit. Like, you know, and then they found this surviving print, and somebody would have watched it and gone, it's rubbish. It's only this framing device that, like, you know, oh, now you're potentially cursed because you've watched it, that even adds any sort of interest to it. But again, it's not worth sitting through an hour and a half.
No, this is not a recommendation. No. It is a film of two halves. You're right when you mention that. Like, it's two different films in one. Antrum itself. What would have been better? Keeping it as the first, the hole, the pit, the idea of hell, or making it a Hills Have Eyes, Crazy Cannibals classic sort of film.
mean,
they're on an adventure through the woods. The sister, they're on a hike and they stumble upon this very simple, very simple.
That'd have been better. Satanic cannibal exploitation.
Yeah.
Film. That'd have been a lot better. Chuck a few more teens in there, make it a party of teenagers rather than a young brother and sister. Yeah. Lose the resurrecting your dead dog. Yeah. I mean, who tells the kid that the dog's in hell? Because it is later revealed. Well, it is later revealed that the sister's made it up, and this is supposedly a way of, like, comforting the kid because the dog's died. It's like, why would you tell the kid the dog is in hell, like, in the first place?
It's a bit Pet Sematary.
But yeah, lose all that. Just give me a late 70s slasher. Yeah, you know.
Yep.
But if you do that, then lose the bookending of it being a cursed film. Just give me shot like X. Give me late 70s style film with all the grainy footage and all the, you know, like it's shot on the sort of Super 8 handheld cams, whatever. Yeah. Give me a satanic exploitation, bog standard found footage. Great.
It ain't broke. Good. It ain't broke. Don't fix it. Just keep it simple. Keep it simple.
If you want to keep this sort of found footage cursed thing idea, you want to do that, then I think the Antrum portion of the film needed to be broken up. There needed to be more documentary stuff, and like we mentioned earlier, there needed to be more analysis of the actual film, and, you know, because the whole film as is in the middle is not interesting enough.
No.
To carry the idea of what it's trying to do. And like I said, I've said it a couple of times now, I like the framing device. Oh, shut up, Alexa. Nobody asked you.
Do you want to watch Antrum again?
She's asking for a rating. I like the framing device, and I like again, I made a note that the documentary parts were infinitely more interesting than the actual film, and they were the smallest part. So the whole thing about these sigils, and, you know, you've essentially just been involved in a summoning ritual or whatever, that was kind of cool as well. But yeah, it just needed to be sort of spread throughout a documentary than the way they did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I'm looking at some of the user reviews on IMDb, and like one of them nails its tone and style, but let down by a lame story. I mean,
yeah, I think that's fair. And like I said, I didn't look at any. What were the reviews overall? I mean, Google 2.9.
Yeah, but it's out of 5 or 10.
That's out of 5. 4.9 on IMDb.
There's one
76% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not reviewed as badly.
It's very mixed.
As it is very mixed, but it's not up there. You know what I mean? It's not.
I think this one here, 8 out of 10. Wow. It takes a lot to creep me out. I'm 63 and I've been watching horror films all my life, and let me tell you, I haven't been this creeped out since I saw The Exorcist for the first time. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. I made a huge mistake of starting to watch it late at night by myself. Big mistake. Had to turn it off and finish watching it in the daylight. Lol. It's fun, creepy movie, and I highly recommend it to any horror buff. This is his best film since The Exorcist.
Since The Exorcist is a stone classic and genuinely scary.
And 50 years old. So in the space of 50 years, there's been nothing, apparently.
So, yeah. What have you been watching? What have you? You've just been watching the sort of 1-star scraping the barrel bargain basement things. But, I mean, I feel like a lot of the reviews are just being generous. Like, they can see what the vision was, and I can see what the vision was.
Yeah, you can. You really can. It just wasn't deliver. It didn't deliver.
The delivery wasn't there. It wasn't executed well enough. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of fair reviews here where people acknowledge that. But
yeah, interesting idea, bad execution. That's it. That's it. That's it. Oh, 10 out of 10. A great film with an amazing retro feeling.
No,
don't use the word retro.
Just, and some people are just
horror masterpiece. It's not a horror masterpiece. It's not a horror masterpiece. Come on.
People say
horror masterpieces are The Exorcist, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, Rosemary's Baby, The Shine. Like, those are horror masterpieces.
Which, by the way, are all my picks for upcoming episodes. I'm not taking a punt on anything random from now on.
Well, if we ever do take a random one, it has to be something like The Beaster Bunny, which we did early on.
Oh,
because
we
it was so shit. It was fun. It was fun to watch. We knew what we were going into. It didn't take itself seriously.
Could definitely get some of them on the back burner, out the back pocket.
Retro. Go on. Sorry.
I'll say there is a film that that I watched recently that is not great, but is an interesting premise.
Yeah.
And I'll not necessarily do it for an episode, but I'd be interested just to hear your thoughts on it if you ever get around to watching it. It's called The Headhunter from 2018, and it's a fantasy horror film about a medieval warrior who has a bunch of Oh, it's totally me. If you look at it, you know why I've watched it. I've been weirdly obsessed with it since I saw it. But essentially, he's this monster hunter. A monster killed his daughter. His daughter's buried sort of next to his cabin, and he goes out and kills any monster he can find. And then something comes after him, kind of thing. It goes a bit weird, is all I'm saying. Not Antrum, not Outwars weird, but maybe not quite as... The execution maybe falls down slightly. But I couldn't help but be massively entertained by it when I watched it.
Oh, so you definitely have seen it then?
Oh, yeah, I watched it a few weeks ago.
Well,
a few months ago now.
As much as I'm not a big fan of some of... Oh, in fact, here we go. One of the bloody disgusting journalists. I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of his opinions on Twitter. I'm not going to say his name. But I've just clicked on an article about the Headhunter on Bloody Disgusting, written by this gentleman, and saying Headhunter is the coolest 2019 horror movie you probably haven't seen but might absolutely must. But even though he's written by him and him saying that, I'm intrigued myself by the film. I'm a big fan of the video game series Dark Souls and all the Souls like games. I'm getting vibes from that. Yeah,
it's got that grim dark vibe to it. I mean, again, the reviews are mixed. The Rotten Tomatoes score is 95%, but the reviews elsewhere are a little bit mixed. But it was low budget, made on $30,000.
Oh wow,
$30,000. I mean, it didn't make much more. It basically made its money back and a little bit of change.
Yeah.
But it did something different. It was a nice, because you don't get many horror films set in fantasy.
No.
In fantasy settings.
No, you really don't.
You know, unless it's sci-fi. You get the sci-fi stuff. And even then, only really Alien.
Well, that was a big discussion a year or two ago. There was a big discussion on Twitter about that, about a film journalist or film columnist saying there was no good sci-fi horror films. And she was really sticking to her guns. And there were so many people saying Aliens, Event Horizon, probably the top ones. Predator is still horror.
Predator sci-fi.
It's sci-fi, it's action horror.
And horror.
But there are. I mean, Event Horizon, when you really look at it, we talked about it, is dumb. It's really dumb in places, and it looks a bit dated, but it's still horror. But there is sci-fi horror, but fantasy horror. Let's have a look now. Fantasy
I don't
horror.
think there's a lot.
By the way, folks, we're done with Antrum.
Yeah. I think I am, to be honest. I don't know if I can say any more about it. I don't know. Like, I mean, you could argue that a lot of horror has fantastical elements anyway. I mean, Wishmaster's about a genie. Anything involving, like an undead supernatural killer, Jason coming back to life as a zombie, is technically, there we go. Is technically fantasy. They all have, quite a lot of them have fantastical elements.
It's quite a vague word, quite a broad word, isn't it? Like when you think of fantasy, I personally instantly think witches, elves, woods.
When I say fantasy, when I say fantasy horror, I want Lord of the Rings.
Exactly.
With, a ghost or a witch. Give me a horror movie in a castle with knights.
Not modern day. Oh, yeah. Army of Darkness.
Okay, so there's two then. But yeah, I don't think there are a lot. I don't think it's a setting that gets used a lot. And if it has, I mean, maybe.
Is there a way to describe that type of fantasy in a different, in another genre? Mythical fantasy?
Mythical, historical fantasy. Horror, I mean, I don't know, grimdark, high fantasy horror. I don't know what that is, but
there was with Jeremy Renner, I believe, there was a Hansel and Gretel film that was meant to be quite, I think it was more over the top.
Family. It was a bit more of a family action.
No, that was meant to be really violent. As far as I'm aware. Yeah, Hansel and Gretel. I'm fairly certain it was.
What, Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters?
Was it not?
Yeah. No, it's a fantasy. It's the 15.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking. Oh, there's another one called Gretel and Hansel, 2020.
Oh yeah, I've just seen that myself.
Dark fantasy horror film based on German folklore tale.
Okay.
Although the poster looks like doesn't look horror. It doesn't look. No. It doesn't look like what we're after. It doesn't look.
No, but I think that's maybe a point. Is when these fantasy horror films do come along, they tend to be dark adaptations of fairy tales, stuff like Little Red Riding Hood, but we've put some more blood in it, and maybe some boobs. Hansel and Gretel,
Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah. Which is fine. Don't get me wrong. Nothing.
Time
for that as well. Got time for that as well. But it would be good. I think it would be fun to see some more more horror films with a.
I agree.
Just with a, or I mean, even if not necessarily fantasy, with a more historical setting.
Yeah.
You know, give me a Predator film picking up. I mean, well, we got Prey, which was really good. With the.
Prey was fantastic. Loved.
Yeah, with the latest Predator movie. But give me a Predator picking off a bunch of Vikings, or you know, a Roman legion or something like that.
Send the Predator to feudal Japan times. I'll take that. I think you're kind of onto something. I'm thinking Army of Darkness, but I'm thinking in a more serious sense. Think castle, rugged, rundown castle, knights and their battered armor. But there's the woods we don't talk about. There's the forest we don't talk about. And in there we've got some sort of demon. And then they send a cavalry out, and a couple come back, like hey, Aragon's getting, like how he gets dragged by his horse and when he falls off, you know, some sort of visuals like that. You could really do like knights against
knights against something. I think would be a good setting, and I think it's a setting that needs to be explored a little bit more. Which is why The Headhunter appealed to me so much. Like I'd say, I'll hold my hands up now and say it's not the best film I've ever seen, but it did an interesting thing with an interesting setting that we don't see a lot of in the horror genre. Usually, it's a fantasy film with horror, you know, that'll have a little trigger warning for elements of horror or whatever. But yeah, give me a bunch of crusading knights on the way back that stop at an old castle. For a rest stop, the castle turns out to be haunted.
Yeah.
And give me, you know, maybe not paranormal activity, but give me an Amityville horror haunted house movie, but it's a bunch of knights staying in a castle rather than a family moving into a house that's built on top of a burial ground or whatever.
I think I've got a good list here. It's on Screen Rant. And 10 scariest horror movies set during the medieval period. And the two posters at the top are Black Death with Sean Bean, who probably dies in the first 5 minutes, and The Headhunter. We've got one here called The Mask of Red Death, 1964.
I've got that. I picked that up on Blu-ray not that long ago.
Is this Hagazusa?
Find a general on there.
Hagazusa.
Is that on there as well?
Yeah.
I've still not watched that.
You mentioned that not long ago, didn't you?
Yeah, I picked that up at the same time I bought A Mask of the Red Death.
Yeah. When a young woman is severely abused by her mother and then left to survive on her own in the woods, she acquires certain reputation from the citizens of her local village. As she matures, she's labelled as a witch. A little bit witchy. Draug, D-R-A-U-G.
Draugr.
Focusing on Vikings in the 11th century. Is it pronounced Draugr? Draugr?
Yeah, I think...
Horror movie steeped in mysticism and Nordic legend. It starts with a quest undertaken by the king's men to find a missing missionary, but what the knights eventually uncover in the wilds of pagan worshipping as Singland is something far worse than bandits. It's kind of what we were talking about.
I think I've seen this.
2018 on Prime. Kind of what we were talking about. Yeah, a group go off and then don't come back.
Yeah. I think I've seen that.
Well,
it was about
the Black Death. That's Sean Bean. When word gets out that a necromancer is bringing plague victims back from the dead, Sir Ulrich and his soldiers must travel through moors and marshes to investigate the rumours. Sauna.
Black Death.
Oh, you've seen it?
Yeah.
Of course you have. Sauna, 2008. After years of battle, two brother warriors charged with patrolling the borders of Finland decide to spend time in a remote village with a mysterious swamp. The sauna there, villagers say, can wash away a man's sins, but once the brothers step inside, they come to find that they're transformed in ways they aren't exactly moral. Dracula Untold, no, that is wank.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Headhunter, yep, we talked about that. The Reckoning, 2021. This looks like a plague. They've got like the plague doctor's masks on.
Oh yeah.
Season of the Witch. That is a Nick Cage film.
Yeah, also very good.
Yeah, that's about it for that list. Yeah. Black Death. Brotherhood of the Wolf is meant to be basically like the game Bloodborne. It's a French film. The 18th century France, the Chevalier de Fronsac, I probably butchered that, and his Native American friend Manny are sent to the Gévaudan province at the king's behest to investigate the killings of hundreds by a mysterious beast. That is Bloodborne.
I think I've seen The Reckoning as well. That rings a bell.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the one that was on that other list, yeah.
Can't remember if I thought it was any good or not, which probably means it wasn't.
Return of the... No, wait, that doesn't... No, that's wrong. Either way, by the looks of it, we're looking at more horror from just sort of Victorian... There's a lot of Victorian time sort of horror.
Yep.
And Nordic stuff. But there's nothing... We can look deeper and deeper, but as of now, don't know of or can't find as easily any type of, like we described, medieval Knights at the Round Table horror films. You know, to put it.
I think it's an area that could be explored a little bit more, and I'd like to see as a setting. I mean, not necessarily medieval. Pick any period in history. Yeah. But yeah, some more historical based or fantasy based horror. Yeah, I don't know. I think it, but so like I said, that's why the Headhunter appealed to me, because I thought, it's a setting that doesn't get used very often, and it had an interesting premise, and
it can't be a found footage film. It won't. No. Why? How did they get this footage?
But it's cool. It's got a nice little sort of twist at the end. Yeah, no, it was decent. It was worth a watch. And a damn sight better than Antrum.
How did we get on to talking about this?
Because we just wanted to get away from talking about Antrum.
Yeah.
I think. Because, well, I mean, to link it back to that, because we were talking about the setting and
that's it. Yeah.
Things, just doing things differently or doing things in a certain style. And I mentioned watching The Headhunter as something that does something interesting in a historical setting or a fantasy setting.
That's it. Headhunter would be a great. I'd be well up for that in the future. After what we've already planned for the next month and a half.
Well, that's it. Should we talk about that?
Oh, that's more interesting. That's much more interesting. Let me whip up the schedule.
I think we are done with Antrum.
Yeah, folks, we tried, but this is easily now probably bottom of the barrel for the Dreadcast of episodes of films we've looked at. I would categorically say that.
Yeah,
it might be for you. It might be, but I'm highly assume it might not be.
Yeah, like as we said, there are enough reviews out there giving it good scores and saying that it's worthy of watching, and we've both said that we can see the vision. We were just let down by the execution. If you're still intrigued by it after what we've said, then by all means check it out and let us know.
Yeah.
If you agree with us, or if you don't, that's cool too. It wouldn't do if we all like the same things. But yeah, not one of my finest moments, that pick.
We all get one. Everyone gets one. Hopefully only one. I said this about June, but I think July is a banger of a month by the looks of it for what we've got.
Tell folks.
In the first episode of July, well, actually, to cap off June, we will be doing. next week is Frankenstein, part 2 of our Monsters of Universal. That should bring it back up. That should bring us back up to a good level, I think, to a good hype level. And then straight after that, first week in July, we are finishing the Gates of Hell trilogy with House by the Cemetery, which you have seen.
Yes, I do need to watch it because I don't remember it. But
I think it's gonna, because we agreed Beyond was better than City of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it carries on that trend and it caps off nicely.
I think it will. I'm trying to, because obviously when I first watched it, it wasn't. It was just a film that me and my girlfriend picked one evening. And was like, oh yeah, we'll watch this. And we were on a bit of a kick of watching older stuff from the 70s and 80s. But I wasn't watching it with my sort of critical podcasting eye. Yeah. But I've got memories of liking it. Weird, it's weird Fulci stuff.
It's Fulci, yeah, it is Fulci.
But weird, entertaining.
It's 81 again. City was 80, Beyond was 81, and this is
just churned them out.
They pumped them out around this time. I mean, we talked about that in one of the episodes. We went through a few of the films, and they were just months apart. No, there were nothing. Yeah. So after House by Cemetery, we're going to be going on to Species. This was my pick.
This is a good pick.
I'm looking forward to Species. This will be fun. Yeah. This will be fun. Mid-90s fun. Something about 80s. You've got classics.
When was it? 95.
80s, you got classics. 90s, I feel like was fun. You had a lot of fun horror films there.
Also, this had a few movies.
Oh yeah, there's a franchise with this.
I mean, I knew it had a couple of sequels.
Yeah,
we got 4. Was that 4 movies?
I didn't know it was 4. I thought it was 3. Oh, more
something
content.
Called Species: The Awakening. Is that a documentary about?
Oh, we've got to have a film with one of those generic subtitles in. Reckoning, the Resurgence, Revenge, Never Back Down,
Can't
Species.
Work out if that's a separate film or.
Where are you looking on IMDb?
I've just searched for Species 95. So and Species film series movies. So Species is the first one.
Yeah, there was the 4th one.
And then the Species, and then 2, 3, and The Awakening. Yeah.
Yep.
So The Awakening is the 4th one.
With a different actress.
It was 2007.
Yeah. 4 out of 10. So yeah, plenty to go on with the Species franchise.
I'm looking forward to Species because again, I can't say for certain that I've seen it properly all the way through start to finish. I know I've seen bits of it, but again, not for 20 years.
A group of scientists try to track down and trap a killer alien seductress before she successfully mates with a human. That's awesome.
I feel like there was an X-Files episode that did.
Of course there was. Something
similar. That was about a lady alien having sex with people.
That would have been a succubus, right?
And like absorbing them. I've got it might be from because Species she's got like the H.R. Geiger's animal look to her, hasn't she? No, this was I'll have to find it. It was a TV series. I'm pretty sure it was a TV series. But the premise was very much the same. It was a female alien having sex with men, but then she was like absorbing them, like sucking them into a sort of body. I've got a very strong image, not like that. Very strong image.
We'll get on to bodies sucking into other bodies in a minute.
Oh, yeah, we will. But a very strong image of like somebody finding like half a man behind a dumpster as he's been like interrupted the feed of this alien. I'll have to find it.
It sounds like an X-Files episode.
It might have been an X-Files. I really can't remember. But anyway,
just on Species, the cast is mad. Natasha Henstridge, Michael Madsen, Ben Kingsley, Forrest Whitaker, Michelle Williams, Alfred Molina. He is the gentleman that played Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2.
Yes, yeah.
He's a great actor. There's some really good talent in this film.
Yeah, that is. Yeah,
I see young Michelle Williams. Oh, I'm looking forward to this. This will be a fun one. Okay, after Species, in middle of June, we will be looking at, and I believe
July. We're in the middle of June.
Oh, now. Sorry, July. This will be the 50th episode.
Oh, wow.
This episode coming up in the middle of July after Species will be Maximum Overdrive. And this is kind of a listener's pick, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, our good friend Mike, who you may know as from the Pocket Knockers, Retro Sesh, No Time to Grind is his current venture. He does lots of streaming and gaming stuff and car related, tiresome TV, car related.
He's everywhere
out there.
He's everywhere
out there on the old Twitch and YouTube and what have you. So I was chatting with him the other day, and he mentioned doing some more Stephen King. Content. And in particular, he mentioned Maximum Overdrive being the big gearhead car nut that he is, and it's a hugely fun film. So I thought it was an excellent choice. Happy to do this one. Yeah,
I'm very much looking forward to it because I've never seen it. I know of it. I know the images. I know the truck. I know the visual. The basically Green Goblin truck. I'm looking forward to that one. And that's going to be episode 50. Nearly 50 episodes of this bollocks.
Century.
Of this absolute trash. But it's still going strong. We're still going. And after that, in July, the last couple of weeks of July, as I talk before I find the schedule again, there it is. Your pick. Your pick for July, sir.
Society.
I was hoping we'd do this at some point soon because,
it's great.
Yeah, it's great.
Absolutely fantastic. I was a little uncertain when I picked it. Your reaction was I was like, oh, have I picked another?
No, because I'm well aware of Society.
Another dud.
No, this is not a dud. This is not a dud.
No, it absolutely is not.
All we need to do is talk about the last scene.
I've told you I've been rewatching the In Search of Darkness docs, and it came up on that, and I was like, oh yeah, definitely want to watch that again at some point. That's my podcast pick. Easy.
If you've never seen Society, folks, don't go and Google it. Don't look at any research. Just watch it. Blind.
Just watch it.
If you can watch it blind, and then listen.
I'm not even going to tell you what it's about now. Not even going to give you a little brief synopsis.
No.
Just watch it.
Just watch it. Yep.
1989 Society. Brilliant.
And then to cap off July, we got part 3, obviously, of Monsters Universal, which will be the original non-Brendan Fraser The Mummy. Boris Karloff.
The original Boris Karloff Mummy. Good stuff.
Yeah. So that's July. Quite eclectic mix. Right there. And then we will be doing 2 episodes in August and then taking a little break and then back in September. In fact, what were the episodes in August? Did you? Oh, it's one of your pick and my pick.
We've not picked yet, though, have we?
I've picked, but you haven't picked. Maybe we'll hold off on that until mid-July, and we'll discuss it.
Yeah, I'll have a think about that.
Yeah.
Couple of, I've got a few. I've got a little short list of ones I wanted to.
Well, you're on thin ice.
No, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be something. I'll just go on. I'll pick from the top 10 of the widely considered best horror films ever made, just to be safe.
Yeah, just to be safe. Yeah.
To be honest, I'm kind of tempted to do The Exorcist. To be honest, I've been dying to rewatch that.
Why not? Well,
there we go.
About it.
That's my pick.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Let's do The Exorcist.
Why not? So, okay, August then. The 2 films we'll be doing in August: Exorcist, first week of August, second week of August. Being my birthday, we'll be doing Return of the Living Dead. Very excited for that.
Yeah.
Do you want to party?
Brilliant.
It's party time. Yes, can't wait. So yeah, that is your rundown for the next month and a half. Next 2 months, basically, from now.
Spoilt. We treat you.
Treat you. And sprinkle in the odd little bit of game content as well on the YouTube channel, which is YouTube at the Dreadcast. Go check it out. There is a little bit of game content there already of the technical test of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game, but there will also be footage of the game itself coming in probably September time when we get around to that.
Yeah.
So, I believe that is...
Yeah, when we come back after the break.
That's the...
Yeah, I'm gonna get to downloading that Texas...
Yes.
Not the Texas
you're not going to do that.
Avenger. the Toxic Texas demo.
Still got it wrong. It's Toxic Crusader. Still got it wrong. We're good at this.
Yes, I'm gonna get that downloaded so I can have a little play on that. That is great news. But yeah, there we go, folks. That was Antrum.
Yep, don't watch it.
The horriblest movie ever made.
Yeah, if this
was the Dreadcast.
It was. Check it all out on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, Podbean, and YouTube. Again, all by searching the Dreadcast, and Instagram and Twitter by searching the Dreadcast.
And do not forget, if you want to get in touch with us by more primitive means, not quite snail mail, but you can also email us, drop us a line at thedreadcastpod@gmail.com. We want to hear your thoughts.
Well, you were going to give out your home address then. Send us letters.
Send me a letter. Send me parcels.
Just send us stuff. Buy us stuff.
Buy us stuff.
Someone's going to send you Antrum on Blu-ray.
Oh, I will treasure it forever.
All right.
Yes,
let's go. Let's leave. Let's get out of here.
Until next time, guys. Stay spooky.
Stay spooky.